There's a secret about silence that Eckhart Tolle uncovered after years of trying to meditate, and it's not what you think. For 2 years, he tried every technique: mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation, visualizations, mantras. Nothing worked as promised, until one morning, everything changed. He was sitting on a park bench, frustrated, tired of trying to force mental stillness. And it was in that exact moment of giving up that the answer appeared. It wasn't about doing more. It was about stopping doing. Have you ever tried meditating and felt more agitated than before? Have you sat for 20 minutes trying to quiet your mind, only to find it getting louder? I know exactly how you feel, because I've been there. For years, I believed meditation was a battle against thoughts, an internal struggle I needed to win. That silence was something I had to conquer, to force, to manufacture. I was completely wrong. And this discovery by Eckhart Tolle will show you why you were also following the harder path. Because there's a difference between the silence you're seeking and the silence that's already here. A difference that changes everything. Imagine for a moment you're in a quiet library. You can hear the tick-tock of the clock, the whisper of pages turning, the gentle breathing of people reading. That's not absolute silence, but there's something profound there, isn't there? Now imagine a place completely devoid of sound. An anechoic chamber, 0 decibels, total artificial silence. Which one brings you more peace? Most choose the library, and this reveals something fundamental about the nature of true silence. The silence Eckhart Tolle discovered isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of something much bigger than sounds. It's like you're searching for air to breathe, without realizing you're already breathing. Have you noticed that when you're truly present, really here, now, external noises simply become part of the moment? They don't bother you anymore. They don't compete for your attention. They become natural. This happens because you stopped resisting them. And when you stop resisting the external noise, something interesting happens to the internal noise too. Thoughts continue to appear, but you stop fighting them, stop judging them, stop trying to push them away. And in that moment, you discover that silence has always been there. Not hidden behind the thoughts, but as the space where thoughts appear and disappear. It's like discovering you weren't the actor on the stage. You were the stage itself. Eckhart says this realization came in a fraction of a second. It wasn't years of practice. It wasn't complex techniques. It was an instantaneous recognition of something already present. And the most surprising part? You can have this same experience in 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes of effort, 2 minutes of surrender. But here's what no one tells you about this surrender. It's not passive. It's not giving up or giving in to chaos. It's active. It's conscious. It's choosing deliberately to stop pushing against what's already happening. Have you ever been in a situation where you stopped trying to control, and suddenly everything flowed naturally? Maybe in a difficult conversation that unblocked once you simply spoke the truth, or in a complex problem that only resolved when you stopped forcing a solution. That's the quality of attention we're cultivating. And here's the first secret of the 2 minutes. You're not going to meditate. You're simply going to be. Sounds too simple? It's precisely that simplicity that makes it powerful. Because the human mind has an interesting tendency. It trusts what's difficult more than what's simple. If it doesn't hurt, If it doesn't require effort, it suspects it doesn't work. But what if what you're looking for is already here? What if the peace you seek isn't a destination, but the starting point? Eckhart discovered this in the most unlikely way. Not during a formal meditation session, not on a spiritual retreat, but in a moment of complete despair. He was going through a deep depression, constant anxiety. And on that particular morning, sitting on the park bench, he simply couldn't take it anymore. Not trying to meditate, not trying to improve, not trying to become someone better or more enlightened. And it was in that non-trying that silence revealed itself. Not as a conquest, but as recognition. Like when you search for your glasses all over the house and discover they're on your face the whole time. Silence wasn't hidden. You were just too distracted to notice it. And that distraction has a specific name. Eckhart calls it psychological time. It's when your mind is always somewhere else. In the past, rehashing what happened. In the future, planning or worrying about what might happen. Rarely here, rarely now. And it's impossible to find silence when you're not present to experience it. But here's the strangest thing about presence. It's not something you do. It's something you stop undoing. Have you noticed that when you're truly absorbed in something you love, time seems to stop? There's no past or future. There's just that moment unfolding. That's natural presence. And it's in this quality of attention that true silence emerges. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of fullness. Like the space between musical notes that allows music to exist. Are you starting to feel the difference? It's as if you've spent your whole life trying to stop the ocean waves with your hands, when you could simply dive deep enough to find the stillness that has always existed beneath. And the 2 minutes we're going to explore together are exactly that dive. Not down, but in, to what's already here. Eckhart realized he had spent years complicating something naturally simple, like trying to breathe consciously when you already breathe automatically your whole life. Breathing happens, the heart beats, the blood circulates, and silence simply is. But then you might be wondering, if it's so simple, why is it so hard to access? And that's a question that takes us to the heart of what truly hinders you from experiencing deep peace. It's not the thoughts. It's not the external distractions. It's not a lack of technique or discipline. It's something much more subtle. Something that took Eckhart years to fully identify. And when you understand what's really in the way, the 2 minutes become not only possible, but inevitable. Because you stop fighting yourself. You stop trying to become silent and recognize that you already are the silence in which everything appears, including the noisy thoughts, the intense emotions, even the resistance to feeling peace. It's all part of the same conscious space that you are. And recognizing this, feeling it directly, that's what transforms 2 ordinary minutes into an experience deeper than hours of forced meditation. Because it's not about duration, it's about the quality of presence. A single drop of ocean water contains the same essence as the entire ocean. And 2 minutes of true presence contain the same depth as a lifetime of searching. Are you ready to discover how to access this quality of stillness that already exists within you? Because what I'm about to share isn't a technique you need to master. It's a recognition that happens instantaneously when you stop looking in the wrong place. And Eckhart discovered exactly where we were looking wrong all along. We were looking for stillness in the future, as if it were an achievement, a reward for spiritual good behavior, something you earn after meditating correctly for long enough. But stillness isn't in the future. It's here, now, in this very moment. And the only thing obscuring it is the very search for it. It's like trying to catch your own shadow. The more you chase it, the further it retreats. Stop running, and it will always be with you. So here's what Eckhart realized on that park bench, and what will transform your next 2 minutes into a completely different experience. You don't need to create stillness. You need to stop covering it up. And there are 3 specific layers covering the natural silence of your consciousness, like transparent veils that, when layered, completely block the light. The first layer is the most obvious. The constant mental noise. Not just the thoughts, but the internal commentary on the thoughts, the analysis of feelings, the planning of the next 5 actions, and even worse, the thinking about the thinking about the thinking. You have a thought about work. Then you think, why am I thinking about this now? Then you analyze. I always worry too much. Then you judge yourself. I should be more present. It's a never-ending cascade of mental activity. It's like having a radio on low volume all the time. You get used to it, but there's never any real silence. And when you try to turn off the radio through more thoughts, you're only turning up the volume. The second layer is more subtle. The search for special experiences. You sit down to meditate, but the third layer is the most invisible. And it's what keeps the other 2 in place. It's the belief that you are someone who needs to find stillness. That you are a restless person who needs to become calm. A fidgety being who needs to find peace. This is the deepest and most destructive belief of all, because it creates a fundamental separation between you and what you seek. It's like believing you are the thirst, when in reality, you are the water. Thirst seeks water, but water never seeks water. It simply is water. And as long as you believe you are the seeker, there will always be something to be sought. There will always be a distance between you and peace. There will always be a not yet between you and silence. But what if you are not the person seeking silence? What if you are the silence itself, temporarily forgetful of itself? What if all spiritual seeking was simply you trying to become what you already are? Like someone searching for their glasses all over the house when they're on their face the whole time. Stop for a moment. Take a deep breath, not to relax, but to feel what is already here. Feel the air touching your skin, the temperature around you, the weight of your body. There's nothing you need to change about it. Nothing you need to improve or correct. There's only what is happening, and you, aware that it's happening. Is that awareness noisy? Is it restless? Or is it naturally quiet, like the space in which sounds appear? Think about a moment of intense emotion you experienced recently. Anger, fear, joy, sadness. The emotion was agitated. But there was something in you that was aware of that agitation. And that awareness that perceived the emotion, was it agitated too? Or did it remain calm, like a silent witness observing a storm? Now, think about a moment of a lot of mental activity, when your head was full of thoughts, plans, worries. The thoughts were agitated. But what was aware of the thoughts? Was that also agitated? Or did it remain present and quiet, like the silent space where thoughts appeared and disappeared? That awareness is you, not the personality, not the memories, not the future plans, not the emotions that come and go, but the pure capacity to be aware, and it is never disturbed, never needs correction, never absent. It's like the space of the room. The room can be messy or tidy, but the space itself is never messy. The space simply allows things to exist within it, like the movie screen that remains intact, no matter how intense the movie projected onto it. Thoughts can be chaotic. Emotions can be intense. The world can be in turmoil. But that which perceives all of this remains in perfect peace. And recognizing this doesn't take 2 years. It doesn't take 2 hours. It might take 2 minutes or 2 seconds, because it's not something you achieve. It's something you already are. So here's the 2-minute experience Eckhart discovered. It's not a meditation. It's a recognition. And unlike any technique you've ever tried, because you're not going to try to make anything happen. First minute. Stop trying to reach any special state. Sit comfortably. Eyes closed or open, it doesn't matter. And simply allow everything to be exactly as it is. If there are thoughts, let them be. Don't follow them, but don't fight them either. They're like cars passing on the street. You don't need to get into every car that goes by. If there's noise, let it be. It becomes part of the symphony of the moment. If there's unease in the body, let it be. It has permission to exist. And here's what's revolutionary. This permission isn't passivity. It's the most powerful action there is. It's you stopping the resistance to reality. There's nothing for you to do. Just be the space where all of this can exist. Like the sky, never disturbed by the clouds that pass through it. The sky doesn't try to push the clouds away. It simply welcomes them and allows them to move naturally. And in the second minute, recognize. You are not what is being perceived. You're what is perceiving. Feel this directly, not as an idea, but as a living experience. Is a thought arising now? Who or what is aware of that thought? Is a sensation in the body? Who is aware of that sensation? Is a sound reaching your ears? Who is listening? This who, that is aware. Is it agitated? Does it have problems? Does it need fixing? Or is it naturally present, naturally aware, naturally at peace? It's not the thought. It's the awareness of the thought. It's not the emotion. It's the awareness of the emotion. It's not the body. It's the awareness of the body. And that awareness, does it have any problems? Does it need any correction? Or does it simply be, complete and perfect as it is? When Eckhart Tolle had this recognition, he said it was like waking up from a very long dream. Not a gradual awakening, but instantaneous. Like when you wake up from a nightmare and suddenly remember you were dreaming. He realized he had spent decades searching for something he had never lost. Like someone who forgets where they put their keys and turns the whole house upside down, only to discover they were in their pocket the whole time. The dream that he was someone separate from the silence, searching for something that was lost. And in that moment, sitting on a park bench, he laughed, not just with joy, but with absolute relief. Because the search was over, not because he found something new, but because he recognized something that had always been present. Like when you're looking everywhere to find your glasses and someone says, "They're on your head." The search stops instantly, not because the glasses materialized, but because you stopped looking in the wrong place, when in truth, he always was the silence in which the search appeared, and you are too. Not as a philosophical concept, but as a lived reality that can be recognized right now. You don't need to believe it. You can feel it directly, because there's a difference between intellectually understanding and experientially recognizing, like the difference between reading about swimming and getting into the water. And these 2 minutes are your dive into the water. But here's something that might surprise you. After you recognize this once, truly recognize it, there's no going back. Not because you become a different person, but because you stop pretending to be someone you never were. Like taking off a mask you've worn for so long you forgot it was a mask. And suddenly, breathing becomes easier, living becomes simpler, because you stop carrying the weight of becoming something you already are. Eckhart Tolle says that after this experience, meditation became completely different for him. It was no longer a practice to achieve silence. It was a recognition of the silence that was already present. Before, meditating was like trying to push a river uphill, constant effort against the natural current of the mind. Afterward, it became like going down the river in the direction it's already flowing. No resistance, no effort, just following the natural current of consciousness back home. Before, he would sit to meditate with a hidden agenda. I need to calm down. I need to stop thinking. I need to get to some special place. Afterward, he would simply sit to recognize, the silence is already here. It always has been. How did I not notice before? Like recognizing the space that has always existed in the room, but that you only noticed when you moved the furniture. The space didn't arrive when you moved the furniture. It was always there, allowing the furniture to exist. And that's the difference between meditation as effort and meditation as remembrance. One is hard work trying to produce a result. The other is gentle rest, recognizing what already is. One searches for something absent. The other celebrates something present. One tries to get somewhere. The other recognizes that it's already home. And you can live from this constant celebration, not just during the 2 minutes of practice, but as the backdrop of all experience. Because once you know you are the silence, you can't help but be it. Even when there's noise, even when there's confusion, even when there's pain. It's like discovering that you are the ocean, not just the waves on the surface. The waves may be turbulent during a storm, but in the depths, there's an unperturbable stillness. You discover you can be the entire ocean, not just the waves on the surface. So when a wave of anger arrives, you no longer need to be swept away by it. You can be the oceanic space where anger appears and disappears. When a wave of anxiety about the future arises, you don't need to drown in it. You can remain as the silent depth where even anxiety can exist without defining you. This doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It means you become absolutely present, able to feel everything completely, without being destroyed by anything. You are the conscious space where all of this appears and disappears, untouched, unaltered, complete, like the sky that welcomes both dark and light clouds, knowing that its essential nature is never stained by any of them. And living from this understanding changes everything. Not because your circumstances change, but because your relationship with them transforms completely. Imagine you discovered you own a house, but spent years living in the backyard because you didn't know you had the keys. Problems are like rain. Before, you got wet and complained about the rain. Now, you simply go inside. The rain keeps falling, but you have shelter. Problems keep appearing, but you are no longer defined by them. You are the space where they can exist without consuming you. Your boss might still be difficult, But instead of being swallowed by irritation, there's a conscious space that allows the irritation to arise and pass, like a cloud passing through the sky. Thoughts keep arising, but you are no longer enslaved by them. They are like visitors in your home. You don't need to banish them, but you also don't need to obey their commands. A thought of worry arises. Before, you'd be dragged into a 5-hour drama. Now, you notice, a thought of worry has appeared, and you can choose whether to engage with it or simply let it pass. Emotions continue to move, but you're no longer swept away by them. They're like emotional weather passing through the space of your consciousness. Sadness might be present, but there's a deeper you that is untouched by the sadness, even while it's happening. You are the undisturbed space where the entire dance of life takes place. And discovering this doesn't require years of spiritual practice. It can happen right now, as you listen to these words, because you're not just listening with your ears, you're listening with the consciousness that you are. And that consciousness is already in perfect silence, already in absolute peace, already complete. The only question is, are you ready to stop searching and start recognizing? Because the secret of the 2 minutes isn't about time. It's about the quality of presence. And you can be completely present now. Not tomorrow, after more practice. Not in the next meditation session, but now, in this moment, which is the only moment that truly exists. And in this moment, you are exactly what you've always been searching for. The silence isn't hidden. You are the silence. And recognizing this is the simplest and most profound revelation of all. Because finally, you can stop searching and start being. Eckhart Tolle discovered this on a park bench. You can discover it wherever you are, because it doesn't depend on the place. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It only depends on you stopping to look outward and recognizing what has always been here. Silent, present, complete. You. And those 2 minutes, they're just the beginning of a life lived from this truth. A life where you never again need to search for peace, because you finally remembered that you've always been the peace you were seeking. And this remembrance isn't something you can lose. It's like learning to ride a bike. Once the body knows, it knows forever. You might get distracted. You might temporarily forget. You might be pulled into dramas and worries. But there's always this possibility of return. 2 minutes of recognition. 2 conscious breaths. 2 seconds of presence, and you're home again. In the silence that was never lost. In the peace that has always been your nature. In the wholeness that you always were. Eckhart Tolle discovered this on a park bench after years of searching. You can discover this now, wherever you are, with whomever you are, because it doesn't depend on a perfect place, ideal moment, or special circumstances. It only depends on you stopping to look outward and recognizing what is always inhabited within. Silent, present, complete, unbreakable, the real you.